In this video, I want to discuss some important circle formulas, and as you can see, this is not the most perfect circle, but we'll have to do this since that's the best I can draw. So first, I want to talk about the relationship between a radius and a diameter of a circle, so let me go ahead and draw a radius. A radius is just going to be a line, or a line segment, I guess, that connects the center point here of the circle to any point on the outside or circumference of the circle. And this is the radius, so we could have a radius here or a radius here, any point of the circle. And that's what's cool about a circle. If we were to draw a radius to any point, the length of this line segment would always stay the same. But the relationship between the diameter, which is the same thing as drawing a radius and then drawing another radius in the opposite direction, or drawing one point from the opposite side of the circle that connects the circumference. And the relationship between this, and I'll say this is R, and the total thing is D. So D. And the relationship or formula we use to describe the relationship between the diameter and the radius is that the diameter is equal to 2 times the radius. So if we have a radius, we can multiply it by 2 and get the diameter. And the opposite is true to get the radius from the diameter, right? So if we have a radius, if we have a diameter already, what we want to do to find the radius is divide this diameter by 2. So this is the relationship between a radius and diameter of a circle. So now let's work on an example where we need to find the diameter of a circle already given its radius. And this is just going to be, well, we already know the formula, right? It's pretty simple. The diameter is going to be equal to 2 times the radius. And in this case, we already know the radius is equal to 6. So it's going to be diameter is equal to 2 times 6. And we could write inches here. And then diameter is going to be equal to 2 times 6. Well, I'll draw this in white. The diameter is just going to be 12 inches. And let's say we were given the diameter is equal to 12, and we want to find the radius. Well, this would be, and I'll draw this up here, this would be, we want to know the radius, and we know the diameter. Well, we could just divide the diameter by 2 to get the radius. So this could be 12 over 2, and that is equal to 6. So I hope you notice how these formulas are used to interchangeably give the diameter and the radius of a circle. Now I want to talk about the circumference of a circle. And the formula to find the circumference, or just the perimeter of the outside of the circle, is pretty simple. It is just the diameter times pi. And pi is an irrational number, meaning it repeats forever in no particular pattern, and it is just equal to 3.1415, and so on and so forth. But the way that this formula is usually expressed, if you'll remember, the diameter is just going to be equal to 2 pi. So the way that you will normally see this circumference formula written is 2 pi r, which means 2 times pi times r. Pretty simple. So let's now try to find the circumference of this circle when the radius is equal to 9. And if we remember our formula, we know that the circumference is going to be equal to 2 times pi times r. So all we have to do in this case is substitute our radius into the formula. So we have circumference is equal to, and we can rearrange this, because of the commutative property of multiplication, as 2 times 9 times pi. And this is going to simplify to circumference is equal to 18, right? That's 2 times 9 times pi. And we could leave this in terms of pi, is what we commonly say, and the circumference is going to be equal to 18 pi. But we could put this in a calculator, and we could see 18 pi is equal to roughly, and I put the approximately equal to 56.5. 56.5. And notice circumference is one-dimensional, right? It is going on a one-dimensional plane, so this is just going to be in whatever unit of measurement this is. In this case, we'll just say 56.5 units, and that is our answer. Next, I want to explain how to find the area within the circle. So here we have the radius once again, and the formula to find the area is going to be the radius times the radius, or we almost always rather express this just as radius squared, because that means radius times radius, and then times pi. And that's pretty simple. And then all this is going to be equal to area. So for example, if we had a radius that was equal to 3, we could say radius squared, so that'd be 3 squared, which is equal to 3 times 3, which is 9. And then we could just leave this as pi, which this will be something like 18 point, I don't even know what, is equal to the area. And since this is the area, this is two-dimensional, the area would be 9 pi square units, or just units squared. And that is our answer. So now let's practice everything we've learned to try to figure out the area of this circle when the circumference is equal to 10 pi. So the first thing we need to do is realize that 10 pi, right? 10 pi in this case is equal to 2 times the radius times pi, because that is the formula to find the circumference. So what we can do in this case is actually just divide both sides of this equation by 2 pi. And if we have 10 pi over 2 pi, this is going to be equal to the radius. And once we simplify this, we can see that this is just equal to 5. So the radius is equal to 5. And we want to find the area, so we can use the area formula, which tells us that the radius squared times pi is equal to the area. So we just need to plug in the radius, which is 5 times 5 is 25, because that is what 5 squared means, and then pi. So 25 pi is equal to the area, And we can put this in a calculator, which I will do very quick. Let's see. 25 pi is roughly equal to 78.5 units squared. And let me outline this, since this is a little bit jumbled up. So 78.5 units squared is our answer to this problem, and we are done.